The cobbles of Weatherfield are hiding a deeply sinister secret, and the dark truth is finally bubbling to the surface. For weeks, we have watched Todd Grimshaw slowly fade, trapped in a terrifying web woven by a man he thought he could trust. Theo Silverton has been pulling the strings, isolating Todd from his loved ones, but the absolute darkest twist is something nobody saw coming. Behind closed doors, a monster has been hiding in plain sight, and he is secretly the one responsible for the tragic, heartbreaking demise of Billy Mayhew. The clock is ticking, and a deadly game is unfolding. Before we dive deep into this chilling evidence, the shocking return of a dangerous stalker, and Todd's ultimate fight for his freedom, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to CoronationST Update. It genuinely helps the channel bring you the juiciest, most accurate daily breakdowns, and you will not want to miss a single second of what happens next. Todd has always been a survivor, a character known for his quick wit and resilience, but Theo has systematically dismantled his confidence. We are witnessing a harrowing reality where it is not just physical intimidation, it is a total mental lockdown. Theo controls where Todd goes, who he speaks to, and even dictates his own reality. Every move Todd makes is heavily monitored, heavily scrutinized, and punished if it doesn't align with Theo's twisted demands. But Eileen's motherly intuition is finally ringing loud alarm bells. The residents of the street are starting to connect the dots. They notice the subtle changes, the forced smiles, the way Todd flinches when Theo enters the room. Theo's perfectly crafted mask is slipping. The way he manipulates Todd's vulnerability is purely evil, and honestly, Theo doesn't give a damn who he destroys in the process. Let's talk about the absolute bombshell regarding Billy Mayhew. For the longest time, the street was led to believe Billy's end was a tragic accident, or worse, the fault of someone entirely innocent. We now know that Theo was at the very centre of it all. He orchestrated the entire tragedy and meticulously pointed the finger elsewhere. Theo manipulated the evidence so perfectly that the real circumstances of Billy's passing were buried under a mountain of lies. He played the grieving friend, all while holding the smoking gun. When the realization hits that the man sharing Todd's home is the very same man who put Billy in the ground, it sends absolute chills down the spine. It is a level of calculated deceit that Weatherfield rarely sees. Theo managed to weaponize his own guilt and place it squarely on the shoulders of the innocent, leaving Todd to mourn his past love while completely unaware that he was sleeping next to his destroyer. But the shadows looming over the street are not just confined to Todd's nightmare. Over at Roy's Rolls, a deeply unsettling presence has crept back onto the cobbles. Mal is back. And let me tell you, this isn't just a casual visit to catch up with old neighbours. This is a calculated, terrifying stalking campaign aimed squarely at Roy Cropper. Roy, the gentle, brilliant heart of the community, is now firmly in the crosshairs of a deeply unhinged individual. The sense of dread is absolutely palpable every single time the cafe bell rings. Mal's menacing behaviour is escalating from silent stares across the street to invasive, terrifying actions that leave Roy incredibly vulnerable. It is absolutely nerve-wracking watching Roy try to maintain his quiet composure while a predator watches his every single move. The entire community is on edge, knowing that Mal's obsession is a ticking time bomb that threatens the safety of everyone who holds Roy dear. Meanwhile, the Webster family is dealing with their own brand of utter chaos. Debbie has found herself pulled into the orbit of Carl Webster, a deceitful, silver-tongued operator who has entirely pulled the wool over her eyes. Kevin and Ronnie, knowing exactly what kind of game Carl is playing, knew they had to step in before Debbie lost everything. They hatched what they thought was a foolproof, complex scheme to expose Carl for the utter fraud he is and protect Debbie from making a monumental, life-ruining mistake. But in true Coronation Street fashion, the plan spectacularly backfired. Instead of opening Debbie's eyes to the reality of the situation, their failed intervention has only pushed her further into Carl's grip. It created a massive, bitter rift between Debbie and her protectors. Kevin and Ronnie are now scrambling to pick up the pieces, entirely aware that Carl's ultimate endgame could leave Debbie with absolutely nothing, and they might be powerless to stop it now that their cover is blown. But everything loops back to Todd's desperate, heart-stopping fight for survival. Theo, sensing that the walls are closing in and the community is getting too close to his sinister secrets, decides it is time to run. He begins planning to uproot Todd entirely, packing their lives into boxes for a sudden, permanent move to Belfast. This isn't a fresh start. This is Theo's ultimate masterstroke to isolate Todd across the sea, far away from Eileen, far away from George, and far away from anyone who could hear him scream for help. But this is where the story turns. Todd finally wakes up. The fragmented puzzle pieces regarding Billy's fate, combined with the suffocating reality of his own nightmarish existence, finally click into place. In a heart-pounding, breathtaking sequence of events, Todd makes a brave, terrifying decision. He knows that if he gets on that ferry to Belfast, he will never come back. So, he doesn't just run away into the night. He gathers every single shred of courage he has left in his battered soul, escapes Theo's suffocating grip, and goes straight to the authorities. Heavy accusations surfaced against Theo, detailing the exact, horrific nature of his control, his manipulation, and most importantly, his undeniable, sinister link to Billy's demise. The entire street rallies behind Todd as he finally shatters the chains that bound him to a monster. The relief is immense, but the danger isn't entirely over. The fallout from these monumental revelations is going to shake Coronation Street to its absolute core. Theo is finally facing the music, but we all know a man backed into a corner is more dangerous than ever. Will Roy survive Mal's escalating, sinister obsession? Can Debbie be saved from Carl's financial deceit before her empire crumbles? And how in the world will Todd rebuild his shattered life after escaping the devil himself? Let me know your best theories in the comments section below. Do you think Theo has one last twisted trick up his sleeve before they lock him away? Do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an explosive update from the Cobbles. See you in the next video.